Welcome to Linkronicity, where your journey and destiny link. I'm Stacey, Kumagai, your linkologist, and I'm here to help you link your life. How are you, lovely souls? I hope you're still hanging in as we're all trying to figure all of this out as we try to move forward in everything that's going on right now. Today, I was called upon the downloaded channel collective of a conversation we need to have. Conversation about business. Yeah, a conversation about business and the elephants that are in the room that not a lot of people are talking about openly. So I said, great, I'll do it. Channel through me. Let's do it. So here we go. Today's video is about linking to our unspoken narratives in business. And today's video is going to talk about a lot of the unspoken narratives that aren't happening, that should happen, and creating a safe haven platform basically so that we can have these conversations, because it's really important, right? Change can't happen if we don't begin somewhere, so it begins today. So let's talk about this unspoken narrative. In business, I know it's really challenging right now for everyone as we try to bounce back. Everyone's talked about how difficult it's been. Everyone's been vulnerable enough to share how challenging it's been. But nobody's talked yet about how the uncertainty itself is creating analysis paralysis within said uncertainty. Now you're thinking like, what? But as I explain it, you're going to go, okay, yeah, I've had that conversation in my head. I just haven't had it out loud. Yeah. So for a lot of people in business right now, as we try to figure out this new normal landscape, what's going to be happening with the economy, what's happening with the vaccination stagnation, a lot of the rules and things that are going to be put into place as protocol for health and safety and well-being of others as some places try to open up versus the other companies that are staying 100% remote for the full safety to avoid liability versus, all these different components and moving parts of the business landscape. It's challenging right now. And I know a lot of you are feeling lost. And so I wanted to come here to be part of the solution and at least be part of the conversation. So let's talk about these things, because there's a lack of clarity as to what's going to happen, because we haven't been down this road before. And as we all want to have be cautiously optimistic, as we would put it, that things are going to go back to some sort of normalcy. I hate that word, but yeah, return. I'm going to preface all of this by saying this. It's not going to return the way that we think it's going to return. That's a safe thing to say, but yet not. It's a very risky thing to say, because how we think things are going to go may not be how we think they're going to go, and we may actually transform. This is what I want you to stay open to. We may actually transform in the process. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of businesses have tried to do things the old way. And by doing that, it's not going to work in this new paradigm, right? This new alternative timeline shift that we're having. Because consumers are not the same, businesses are not the same, the economy is not the same, consumer confidence is not exactly the same, and habits have changed. Habits have severely changed. In quarantine, your habits have changed a lot, right? A lot of different lifestyle things have changed, so we haven't had the need for certain things, products and services and all of that. But there is room for innovation, there is room for pioneering, there is room for doing something different. But a lot of people who are stuck in this boxed mindset are too afraid to take those risks right now. And I know you're going to see a lot of it right now if you are a job seeker, or if you are an employer trying to hire or try to makeshift your teams, or if you are a recruiter, and you've seen it probably more than anybody, because you're seeing postings show up, they stay up a couple weeks, and then they come down. And they show up, yeah, we're back open. Nah. Don't want to get too many people on the team yet, because we don't know, right? There's a lot of uncertainty. That's what's creating this 2 steps forward, 3 steps back type of progress. So you may think, well, how is 2 steps forward, 3 steps back progress? Well, it is progress if you choose to look at it that way, by using this more productively to be more effective. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is you can use this time of the 2 steps forward, 3 steps back to reevaluate. What are you doing? What's purposeful in your team building? What's purposeful in your risk taking? Because the one thing I want to get very clear to a lot of businesses, especially major corporations who are out there, I don't want you guys to lose sight of why the company started in the first place. Have you lost that? Have you lost that entrepreneurial spirit of sometimes just trying something new or different that you haven't done before? You did when you first started. What happened? What happened to that? When did everybody go into the perceived safety zone of not taking risk? And when did people go into the perceived safety zone of growing too fast, or maybe we're not sure if that market's going to work, or right? There's a lot of halting. And that's also part of the analysis paralysis, because that's what we're seeing right now in our energy sphere of where the world is right now. And where our world is right now is in this place of flux, right? There's a stagnancy, fence-sitting, flux situation, and it's hard. And what we need right now is support. What we need right now is open conversation about this kind of thing. And so I'm starting this conversation to begin a conversation with all of you. Where are you right now? How are you feeling about all this right now? For those who are in their jobs, how much job security do you feel right now? And for those who are looking, how much confidence do you have in the company that's going to hire you that they're going to actually keep your position? And companies, how sure are you right now that you're going to actually have a loyal customer base? And how much of that customer base are you actually taking for granted? And how much of that customer base have you yet to explore? That could be new. That could be progressive and newly innovative for your company, because you're daring to try something new as a component or a service arm of what it is that you're doing, to actually open yourself to new infinite possibilities and realms of potential for where you can go and grow and expand what it is that you're not currently doing, which can become a brand new narrative, and rather than your unspoken narrative of the analysis paralysis. Think about that for a second. Think about where you stand right now in participating in where you go and where you want to grow, and how you might have held yourself back unconsciously, or maybe fears that you haven't addressed within your own marketplace, or maybe looking at how you haven't nurtured your teams. When was the last time you nurtured your teams? Especially for those of you who are global companies who've got a lot of different teams across a lot of different time zones from a lot of different countries. How are you cross-culturally relating to these teams within what's happening where they're sitting right now with what's going on? We saw the pandemic kind of go through this wave. This country in lockdown, this country open. This one is back in a surge. This one is, right? We've seen a lot of that. So how are you navigating that narrative in terms of connection? How are you expanding that externally to your market? And how are you dealing with it internally as your strategy and your step forward? These are questions that I have for you that I want to open up the conversation about. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We can have an exchange of ideas. We can have an exchange of different perspectives of where we're all sitting, because we're all sitting with some common ground, but we're all also sitting with some unexplored territory at the same time. And we might be able to share and pivot better if we're exchanging a lot of these things that are part of the unspoken narrative. Let's change that conversation. Let's speak about it. Let's talk about it. Let's exchange and share It's okay. Everyone's feeling it. In a completely different way sometimes too, depending on the size of the company or its mission, its purpose, its intention, its authenticity, its trust, also its corporate trickle-down situation of communication, what's happening or not happening, or how teams are being supported or not supported. You know, there's a lot that's happening. And for the overall health of mind, body, soul, spirit, health, well-being of everyone, we need to talk about it. You're going to have employees who are too afraid to go back into the workplace because they don't know that you have a HEPA filter. They don't know if you're going to separate teams with the vaccinated versus the unvaccinated. How much engaging is going to be happening? Are they going to have to risk their safety by flying back and forth the way they did pre-pandemic? You know, how much human caring now is going in to be as equal to said bottom line? I said it. I said it because it matters more now. We've seen millions of people die. And we have to know that at the end of the day, when we're done with business, we still have what really matters. And that's people. And that's how we relate with people. It's how we connect with employees. It's how we connect with teams. It's how we connect with each other. And that comes first, where it's people first. Think about it. And if you haven't had this conversation with your team, I encourage you to have it, to start it, to begin it. And if you need a little help, I'm here for that too. Let's talk about it. All of these unspoken narratives are meant to be put out in the open, to rip off the Band-Aid. Let's air them out. Let's get them seen. Let's heal them up. Let's move the needle forward, move the conversation forward. Let's step forward into some sort of movement instead of staying stuck in this analysis paralysis, in limbo, walking the tightrope, and on eggshells, since we don't know what's happening with everything that's happening right now in the world. There's a lot that's changing. And as the Delta virus chooses to make its way through, we're going to be dealing with this again. So let's talk about it now. Let's start the conversation now. And let's begin our new tomorrow today. I'm Stacey, Kumagai, your Linkologist, here to help you link your life. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Linkronicity, Blogspot.com, and go to Linkronicity.com if you want a counseling session, if you want a consultation to help you move your team and your company forward. Let's connect. Let's make it happen. Let's create some change for the better. Sending you love and light, blessings, and I hope that you are gentle with yourself, gentle with each other, and take on your day for the highest and greatest good. Namaste.